Hello, so I was recently requested to kind of do a walkthrough of Act 2, D100. Not so much like this is the easiest way to do it or anything like that, but more of a, my thought process behind stuff. So, I've showcased a run playing Warchief Kront in the past, but I'm going to try and get a run where I get the biggest Warchief damage possible that I can, and try to see if I can break my highest crit record. So to do that, I'm going to play Kront, obviously, and commentate whilst doing it at the same time. This is the page that I run currently. It's basically centered around trying to get as much damage as possible at the sacrifice of Behemoth Heart over here, losing a couple points. But generally, this doesn't matter too much because if enemies are dead, you're not taking damage. So if you're not taking damage, you don't need to regen too much. But 2 points is still enough to be able to push the tree down a bit, and also make sure to regenerate back some of the damage we do take. It's very heavily focused on life and power damage. I don't have any power crit though, which is something I am looking for. We run Krakadin or Karkadin or Karkadin, I don't know how you say it, for the life, damaged to undamaged. Got big attack damage scaling in this. We're running Fall of the King, which makes us take more damage, but we deal more damage for doing so. This is a fantastic helmet. Fried Rice because I don't have a power damage relic with banishes on it. Running Whale of the Desert Seas. This gives us a bunch of life. Waste for a bunch of life in the offers. Power damage on the mutation ring. And then we've got our Bigfoot here for more life in some area. And then we're running the Gauntlet for some master offers. And then a power damage on our jewel. Why are we stacking so much life? Because we have 800 here. Well, in the tree, if you look, we have overpower over here, which gives us attack power and power damage on our based on our life. So the more life we have, the more of this we're getting, and it accumulates to being quite a bit. And that's pretty much all she wrote. The damage to undamaged on this is very good because it stacks with first strike, so we end up having, I think, like 900%-ish first strike damage, which is a lot when we're stomping. And the entire premise of the build is stomp. And it's not a hard build to get going. You don't need a lot of items for this to be insane, so it's a very consistent one to replicate, and that's why I'm playing it in this. So we're just going to banish out pretty much anything that can cause damage before our stomp hits, and yeah, that's the thought process. We do need to re-roll a bunch though, to hopefully land on God of War. That is one of the issues here. Okay, well that's Fatality, not God of War, but we are going to take War Pact. We do want that for the bosses. Yeah, you can see we're hitting 60k without really needing to try. So we're going to re-roll and hopefully land on... This is very unfortunate. We will banish the crit because it doesn't work. We'll take the dice. I felt bad to do, but we need the dice. Yeah, you can replicate this, like this entire page, like the entire talent page. And it will still perform to this degree of damage. We'll reroll for a better attack offer. Excellent. We want Master on our attack roll because Summer's attack for melee is tied with Mort's for having the highest attack damage scaling. I know it doesn't offer us area, but we're using it for that reason, the fact that it does so much scaling. We don't want Frostring because it can hit things before we land with the Stomp. We do want World Freeze though. And that's the thought process behind this now. We have the three gods locked in. We have our Crom, we have our Winter, and we have our Summer. The reason we're going for these is Summer, again, like I said, the attack scaling is incredible. This is tied with Mort's attack for having the highest attack damage per level invested into the attack. It also brings us access to Gehenna, which is great because of the fact we're wanting to take Winter, so we can get stuff like Hoarfrost and Icebound, which is going to give us a bunch of conditional damage modifiers. But also because of the fact we're getting Gehenna from Summer. When we take World Freeze here, this is going to give us a bunch of experience as it's applying chill to all the enemies as they spawn in. This is basically this build's version of Inner Peace experience gain, but whilst also gaining damage for doing so. And then we're taking Crom for the God of War, because God of War is the largest multiplier in the game currently when it comes to damage, because it's multiplicative with everything you have in your trees and all the gear and stuff you have on, so you get some crazy damage the moment you get that. And then you pair all of that with First Strike and life from the Fates, and suddenly you end up hitting for millions, like very, very easily, very consistently as well. Like, we're almost hitting 100,000s without having any damage impacting blessings right now. We'll take dash recharge speed, because obviously the damage is linked to our dash, and we don't ever want to manually attack. Because if we manually attack, we will lose this overwhelming momentum. Every second you're not spent attacking, you gain a stacking 30% damage, attack damage and a 30% attack area, which is multiplicative because it's from the talent tree with our gear and the blessings and stuff we get in the run. So this is actually giving us much more attack damage than you might think it does. But the area as well is obviously going to be stacking up quite nice, which gives us this radius in the first place. Right, let's hope here. We can banish the charge. Okay, we still didn't get God of War often. Yeah. Now, the smart thing for me to do would be, instead of running this, run the unique that makes fates appear more frequently. But, you know, trying to high roll as much damage as possible. But if you have that fate relic, slap that on instead and force yourself to get first strike easier. We don't want any of these, so we're just gonna alter. Okay, we're gonna take fatality just to get it out the pool. You can see we're already hitting for 128 Ks. With the shrine, of course. And now we're just going to basically stomp around. We're not going to prioritize killing these little skeletons as much, because they don't give as much experience. Because in the Act 2 patch, when Act 2 came out, God of War. Now our numbers are going to get stupid. Because this, being a blessing, is multiplicative to the 60% we have on the helmet, but also multiplicative to the recklessness we have in the tree, because of the fact they are all in a separate bucket, so they multiply together. So if I now take this, when we stomp here, we're hitting for the same values that we were just hitting, if not more values, sorry, than we were just hitting when we had a damage shrine. So yeah, it's pretty silly. And once we get first strike, you'll see it gets even crazier as well. What was I saying? Yeah, so the reason we're not prioritizing killing these skeletons too much is, one, because, I mean, we're just going to naturally kill them anyway when we're jumping around. But two, coming into the Act 2 patch, they adjusted how experience works a little bit in the game. In the past, basically, experience shards were just RNG, so if we killed, say, these guys, they would all have a chance to drop the same amount of experience. It's just a matter of elites dropped a little bit more, etc. But now the amount of experience you get per enemy is directly proportionate to the difficulty of the enemy. So the enemies here, for example, this genie, the fact it's got more health, does more damage, and moves faster, gives us more experience in comparison to the skeletons, which wasn't a thing in the past. This is to compensate for the fact that, obviously, difficult enemies should reward you more for killing more. Okay, we're going to take power area, since Warchief is a power talent, so therefore it scales with power stats as well, even though it does get attack damage scaling, which allows us to do things like this. This is why I don't really go for Nin in this build. It's because there's so much power, like there's so many ways to get area already, you don't need Nin's area increase. We already have what we want from Kront now. Upper Frost would be fine, but we're going to try and land on first strike. Fine, we'll take Lifeline. Yeah, at this point our alterations become a secondary reroll. Now any shrine that we get like this, we're always going to take the health option. Because of the fact, although yes, that's a lot of attack damage we could have got, the health also gives power, so we're double dipping. This doesn't matter, we'll take luck. Just for more pickup rates. And we're basically gonna prioritize just moving altar to altar now, like looking for shrines. Because we want to try and get as much health as possible, so we can scale that up as much as possible. Basically, Kront and Maris have become what Nixie used to be in Act 1. That's essentially what I'm saying here. Cool. Lifeline's maxed. We have a lot of health now. We get a lot of power from it. We get a lot of attack damage from it. It's very good. Look at this general damage up here. 880%. So now, the things that we need a high roll into is getting first strike from Fates, and then all of Winter's modifiers. So we need to get Hoarfrost, we need to get Icebound, banish these. We can banish these. We'll take Path of Frost though, the movement speed's fine. Plus it gives us a way of actually applying shield, like faster, which will help with stacking on the bosses. Yeah, so like I do have my gear set in a very specific way for power damage and life everywhere, but if you don't have the gear for this, it still performs exceptionally well. It's just your numbers might look lower. So like you could easily replace them with like temporary things, like just anything that has power damage. Icebound is fantastic. So now if we freeze here, for example, 600k. Then we get first strike on top of that. Ooh, it's gonna be great. Alright, so give us Hoarfrost? No Hoarfrost. 4 is also very good, but we'll save that for being a higher rarity. Rerolls. Okay, well, we're just never going to see first strike, apparently. But that's just mean. That could have been first strike, but nah, it wanted to troll. I mean, it's not bad, right? Getting an extra dash is always nice, but it could have been first strike. That's the point. I'm fine with level up hovers, because that means we could just spam Scorching Strike, actually. I was going to do pick up healing increase, but we don't need it. See, like the experience gem, because that guy is technically a harder enemy to deal with, it gives us more experience. So although you can technically level faster by killing all these basic skeletons, it's not as nearly as time efficient than running shrine to shrine and just killing the ones that spawn in front of you. Alright, we're going to take the power option here and hope for power crit. We got duration, that's sad. Yeah, if we got power crit, considering it's a power, it would have a chance to do ridiculous damage. Obviously, we're going to take life. And because we have life percent on some of our gear, all these life altars and stuff are actually giving us more. So like, it might say give 20, but we're actually getting a lot more than 20. Plus then we have lifeline. I don't care about that, actually. I'm not going to banish it just yet. We will go with power damage. So like there, you're already seeing us hit for just over 1 million. Or just under 1 million, sorry, and we don't even have first strike. Oh, well, there is a 1 mil. We'll take movement speed. Hop around faster. Without first strike, we might have to hit the boss twice before it dies. But we'll see. Actually, we can kind of guarantee it just by, you know, freezing him first. There you go. I don't really need the gear, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Unless it has a specific word that I'm looking for, I'm not gonna bother touching it. Bookcase, wow. Dash recharge speed is fine. So we have 3 dashes. Get some damage out of it. We'll take dash recharge speed here though. Hop around a bit faster. Take the max life. Scorching strikes upgraded. We will take the experience per second. Gain max life. Like, we could get the item, but I want max life. I want to try and get big funny numbers. Here's one Stompy boy. We are just playing Diablo 3's Leave Quake Barbarian. We will banish this. Take Virgin Treasure, why not? Cool. It's gonna be very sad if we never see first strike in this run, but we'll take level up offers again, because now our level up offers are going to be 85%, so now we should be able to just smash the Scorch. Oh, I didn't click it. Power damage is nice. What does sovereignty do? Oh, that's pretty darn good. Yeah, we'll hold on to that. Strike Nixie is definitely on the menu. It's not a terrible thing. Throw some tornadoes onto it and do a shadow shift build, and suddenly you're proccing big damaging tornadoes. Now, of course, leveling up Scorching Attack, the one downside is the fact that it does that flame trail every time we adjust the card. But, that's fine. That won't be an issue later. Cool. Where are all the shrines? Oh, that's 2. At this point in the run, generally kind of want to keep moving, making sure to kill these as they're running in, but watching for where the insect ladies are, because you either want to deal with them as soon as possible, like kill them the moment they come in, or crowd control them, so that way they don't get opportunities to spam on you and chase you around. So, one shot there. But if I was playing someone who doesn't do this much damage, for example, I would still be utilizing Winter, most likely. Oh, I definitely need to get some more banishes from some altars. I just realized we still have some banishes in the pool that we need to deal with. Yeah, the way that you deal with these is basically crowd control them and save your dashes for when they start animations. Or kill them. If you try to just run from them, what eventually will end up happening is they'll catch up to you because they are very quick. But they'll fire out the waves like that. But since you're running in a straight line away from them, you'll actually run back into the wave as it passes through you. And that's why it feels like they insta-kill you sometimes. Is because of the fact that you're basically making the wave hit you multiple times by running with it. So it's better to like save your dashes and go like sideways, or go and kill them, or crowd control them via things like World Breeze. Take the power damage again. Surprised we haven't seen more life shrines. They're usually quite common. Wait, did that archer live? Okay, yeah, he's dead. We'll take the dash for the movement speed. That's fine. It's also not a bad one. Yeah, as you can see, my inventory's got an issue right now, and that's called it's become an extension of my of my stash. Okay, so attack damage or dash damage. Dash damage, although we are using our dash to proc Warchief, it does not affect Warchief's damage, so we're just going to take the attack damage. Just going to keep bouncing around. Watching attack. Come on, power crit. Gave us error. I mean, they're not bad stats, right? Like, duration doesn't really do anything for us, but area is fine, but I want the crit, man. I want that 3% chance to RNG and have my 6 mil crit be 12 mil. Actually, it would be higher than that. It would be like, what, 14? Because it's 4x now, not 3x. We'll upgrade shut up. It's also not bad. Basically, I'm looking for items that have the tag luck key on them. That way I can stack as much luck on certain characters, like Nixie. I'm avoiding pressing Path of Frost, by the way, for level ups, just in case we ever get winter in a scenario like this, where I don't want to press Frost Zones, so I can have it as a fallback option every time. We have so much level up offers. I hope I banished Dragon. I can't remember if I did or didn't. Dash recharge speed. If that shows up and we're forced to take it, I'm going to be very sad. Honestly, that'll be a very handy thing to have. As if they had a toggle up here, which changes this into being showing the stuff that you've banished in those categories. So that way it's easier to... oh, whoops. Almost killed her. Oops. Boss dead. Yeah, but... We won first strike. Where's our first strike? I need the big funny numbers. We'll take luck. Max life. I'm gonna click that because I don't want to reduce my movement speed. As much as it can have the opportunity to give us items, I don't want to risk losing my movement speed. Which in my eyes is a bigger detriment than just getting an item that might not be useful. We'll take the attack again. But in my opinion, this Warchief Kront, Maris with the landslide spam are the two most consistent and the least gear dependent builds to play for. So if you want to have characters to farm on, and have like an easy time just accumulating items and trying to push some darkness levels, definitely grab one of those two and go with it. I will say Kront's a little bit more forgiving because of the fact he basically can just make do with life gear, and life gear is plentiful. Maris needs a little bit of cast damage on items, which is a little less weighted in terms of drop rates. Path of Frost. Or move speed. With these guys, I'll showcase it. I shouldn't just be ignoring them. The way that you can predict and dodge their bombs is they always, because of the way that they've done AI coding, where they try to make it so it follows your, like they try and predict where you're going to be. Let me just look at this real quick. Don't want it. They try and predict where you're going to be. So what they'll do is they'll throw ahead of you. So as they throw the bomb, either double back on yourself or just move in square shapes like this. And then every bomb will basically miss. And if any are going to land close to you, you'll be dashing. You're pretty much set at that point to be able to dodge every bomb. And that's the same for every character. And you can basically do these square shapes to dodge the bombs, and then wait for World Freeze to pretty much CC them, and then go kill them. Hey, we got it. Cool. The run can start 17 minutes in. Oh, look. 6.4 mil. Basically, what happens is, because it's multiplicative, so if I take off this, right? Notice the damage up here is 920%, right? So take this off, it goes to 600%. Put this back on, 920%. But because the sources are multiplicative, you end up with insane scaling on these two, pairing off with your attack damage and your power damage down here, which then causes, well, that. So if we now freeze this cat, freeze the cat. We didn't have it. Wait, why isn't it freezing? On. Freeze. Thank you. 7.1 mil. And of course, this 7.3 mil. This can get higher because we don't even have, what's it called? Much life and stuff scaling right now. So we haven't been that lucky with shrines, and we don't have any crit. Like, imagine if we had one bit of crit. That's basically what I'm hoping for on my amulet roll up here. On my relic, sorry. I'm hoping to get a relic like my strike relic, which has a bunch of strike damage and a bunch of strike crit and then 6 banishes. I'm hoping to get basically that, but with power. Then we'll get some real funny things happening. 7.6 mil? Oh, it's disgusting. We should probably focus on actually killing these though, because we are playing a very, as much as we do have 1.5k health, we only have 2 points in life regen. So we are playing a glass cannon version of the Kront build. Alright, we're going to take the banish now so we can get rid of the throw zones. That's right, I call them throw zones. Yeah. And this is why I don't go Justice and Nin. Because you don't need map-wide Warchiefs, you kill everything anyway. So, I want to go for the funny big numbies. Oh, was that a 9 mil? I had to watch that back. Oh my god. To think, we don't even have a damage shrine. Oh, it's so dumb. I don't know what happened. Something must be broken in the code, right? There's no way this was like the intended way that they wished for this to math out. But I mean, they confirmed it to be when I asked the question when they revealed the talent trees, because I was like, if signs are being replaced, in the past, signs were multiplicative, so signs and gear were additive to each other, right? And then that multiplied by all your in-run sources. But when I asked about it, Ren confirmed that instead of being additive to gear, talents are becoming multiplicative to your gear. So that means they are a third source of multiplier. It's just crazy. If we can find some life gauntlets right now, I'll put those on for the ending of this run. Alright, Jin, freeze. Oh, he unfroze. But, I mean, that's funny. Alright, so, yep. That's the build. Pacifism Kront, let's call it. Bit of a searing attack up here for the scaling. Path of Frost for some movement speed. Banish literally everything else that you can. Stack as much life as you can to pair with damage to undamage, attack damage, and power damage. And then you want to get a bit of power crit if you can, just to get the funny numbers. And stomp to win. And then your damage will look like this. Yeah. Anyway, I'll show the talents again at the end, just in case people want to screenshot them and like copy them, etc. There you go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.